Hello, welcome to day 2 of solving one-step equations. Remember, an equation is going to have an equal sign, and similar to yesterday, I'm going to put adding in quotation marks because just because we put an adding sign doesn't necessarily mean we're going to add to solve. That's one of those tricky things about adding and subtracting integers. So if you look at the first two, my goal is to get b by itself. Next to b is minus 12. I need to do the opposite or the inverse of minus 12 and put plus 12. That is good news for the left side because a positive 12 and a minus 12 leaves me with nothing except b by itself, which I wanted. But like yesterday, like my triple beam balance, I need to treat both sides of the equal side the same. So if I add 12 on the left, I need to add 12 on the right. But this is why I put air quotes around add, because with integers, if one is positive and one is negative, you don't actually add, you subtract. There's a battle between positives and negatives. Who wins this battle? $37 negatives. I hope you were solving in that time that I waited for you. Also, you should be having your checkbox every time. And by every time, I mean every time. It used to say b minus 12 equals negative 49. Now it says negative 37 minus 12 equals negative 49. Well, if you add 37 negatives and 12 negatives, you do get 49 negatives. Yay! You know what that means? This answer is correct. You don't have to wait for me to send you a private message on what is correct or not correct in your paper because you will have already checked. Second one. It drives some people absolutely crazy that the equals 98 is in front. If you would like, instead, to move it to the end, you can, but you must leave x minus 14. Remember, there's no commutative property for subtracting. You must leave x minus 14 in that order. I would like x by itself. This says subtract 14. I add 14 on both sides. Both sides of what, you say? Both sides of the equal sign. X is left. That time, since they were both positives, I just add like I'm back in second grade. Every single time you should be checking. It used to say 98 equals x minus 14. Now it says 98 equals 112 minus 14. If you don't know, you should check. Look at that. 98. I got it. You don't need me to tell you if it's right or not because you checked your own work. Through the next 6 problems, you should pause, solve, and then press play to see me solve. So it's like your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. So you should be pausing here to solve. Speed version. Get P by itself. Add 91 to both sides. What's both sides of the equal sign? P is alone. I know I said I was going to add, but when there's a positive and a negative, I'm not actually going to add. I'm going to subtract. Do a side problem because I can't borrow well in my head. More positives win that battle. Check to see if it makes sense. If you don't actually know 55 minus 91, do a side problem. Can't borrow in my head, I gotta write it down. Yay! These are not 2-second problems. Please do not solve them in 2 seconds and upload them and say, yep, got it. You don't got it. A couple minutes per problem. These are both positive. I can add like I'm in 2nd grade. Good news. Do not continue without a checkbox. I don't know that 122 minus 55 is equal to 67 unless I actually do the subtraction. Now I know it does equal 67. Your turn. Pause. My turn. I know I wrote that I was going to add because that's the opposite of subtract, but when there's one of each, I'm not going to add them. I'm going to do a side problem. There's a battle between negatives and positives. Who won over here? Positives did. Do not continue without a checkbox. If I had $9 and I tried to spend 17, I would be 8 short. Got it. True. I know I was going to add 6, but since there's one of each, there's a battle, and I'm not actually adding. I have 10 negatives left in the battle. Negative 10 minus 6 equals negative 16. Add 2 negatives together, I will get negative 16. Your turn. Pause. My turn. What in the world is happening? Looks like I have some constants I need to combine before I do any solving. So if I have 41 negatives and 3 negatives, that is going to be negative 44. If you're saying those aren't negatives, you should be using stuck like glue. They definitely are. Or put boxes around them or something. This says plus a negative. I need to subtract a negative. I really hope there's warning bells going off in your head right now. Big plus. When they're both positive, I can add like I'm in second grade. Don't stop before checking. Now, if you're thinking, I don't know 112 minus 41 minus 3. Me neither. I have to do side problems too, people. $71 minus 3 more. Now I know I am for sure right because I checked it. On page 91, part 2, I expect to see your checking. I expect to see your checking. This is not an optional situation, people. I expect to see your checking. After you have checked, you are ready to submit. Talk to you later.